So I get a beep, a boop. Getting all
Beep a doop, a boop.
I'm getting all the
Boopity
boops.
boppity, boppity boopity.
We've got the flips, the bips, and the dips.
How come you give him? Damn you! You give him all the easy ones.
I'm surrounded by assholes.
I gotta go back and watch that.
Spaceballs? Oh, it's always worth a watch.
No, Big Daddy.
100%. Well, I was talking about Spaceballs, where the
Big
guys.
Daddy, dude.
He's like heap hop anonymous. The legend, Rob Schneider.
You can do it.
Oh,
Says that in every movie.
yes, and we're in.
And we're in? All right.
Good.
Well, welcome in, everyone, to Dig on America, a socio-political podcast where every week we give you, that's you, the dig on U.S. history, politics, policy, and sometimes pop culture. And then we discuss how they affect social issues today. DOA is independent media supported by you listeners, but also, in all likelihood, a deep state propaganda arm funded by the Clinton Foundation, George Soros, Jay-Z, and some fictitious characters that, I think perhaps Scrooge McDuck supporting the show this week, I've heard, swimming in money.
Right? Can't forget about Skeletor.
I love to swim in the money. That's my best Scrooge McDuck.
That was terrible.
Man, you gotta. Do you have like a Scottish accent? Can you do a Scottish accent?
Do I have a Scottish accent? I don't. I just like to swim in the money.
You're just
You
talking.
sound like
my-
Eminem. You sound like
Get out of my
Eminem.
house, Donald.
I joke, I kid.
It's like
He
it's
robbed
like,
from the widows and swindled the poor.
This mug, hey,
Oh, he was good.
you know what I want you to say? I want you to say, Britney Spears has shoulders like a man. I say that and you laugh because there's a puppet on my hand. Say that.
That sounds like a Nigerian.
No, that's Britney Spears. No,
The guy.
that was more the white dude in the barbershop at Coming to America. Britney Spears.
oh, you're
I got a
talking about
Nigerian guy.
Britney.
A Nigerian guy moved into my house. The house,
Into your
the apartment.
Oh,
Yeah, it's like I live in a house and there's like 4 guys that rent rooms here.
oh.
And the Nigerian guy moved
It
in.
sounds like a house rented by divorcees.
Probably is. One of them's like 19, so I doubt he's divorced. But
You never know. It's crazy kids.
nah, I doubt that. But so this Nigerian guy moves in, and I didn't know he was Nigerian. I just was talking to him. He said something about soccer and his favorite soccer team, and I was like, "Where are you from?" He's like, "Well, most recently I'm from the UK, but I was born in Nigeria." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, "So are you the same nationality as the guy who owns the house?" It's like, did you know him or something? Because he has a similar accent.
Damn.
And he said to me, he goes,
Damn.
and he says to me, he goes, "Yeah, he's Nigerian too, of course." And I was like, "All right, I don't want to assume that I understand people's accents because I mean, I don't want to offend somebody. I'm like, I could assume you're from Wakanda." And he goes, "Oh, you mean the Wakanda movie where they go like this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you don't know what it's called?" It's like, "No, we don't watch those movies there. It's not a real Africa movie." I'm like, "Okay." You're hating on Black Panther. It's like, "Oh yeah, Black Panther. That's what it's called." I'm like, "All right."
Oh man.
I only know
told
2
y'all
accents.
Africans do not like African Americans. So why would they watch a movie
No, we're not the same.
where
We're not the
African
same.
Americans are creating a fictitious African freaking city? It's not gonna happen. Country, yes. Country. I'm
Nation
sorry.
state.
Mhm.
Nation state.
All right, so let's get started with the show. Welcome in, everyone, listeners. Thank you for tuning in. I am back with the darkest of all dark nights from the Gotham City caves of Illinois. Big Haas, what's happening, Panther Haas? Oh, you're wearing the Black Panther shirt. I just noticed that.
Nice. That's the retro joint too, where he had the cowl.
Yeah, where he has the cape. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
I like that.
I'm doing cool. I'm slowly getting my brain.
We're
Back
surprised that
into
you made it
home
back.
mode.
we thought you weren't going to make it back from the Smoky Mountains. We thought you were going to get killed by some Confederates.
Hey,
or he's at the nudist colony.
I wish I was at the nudist colony.
Or did they assimilate you?
No, they did not. You know what's interesting as you say that is because right outside our hotel, we were like right on the main street, and
by the main street, you mean a dirt road?
No, nice. It's 2 lanes each way, but traffic was horrible. But that's another story. But the day before we left, there was out in front because the traffic is real. Imagine spring break traffic where they have the slow crawl.
Yeah,
That's what it was like. And outside, we're walking out to go to another adventure, and there is 7 or 8 pickup trucks with Confederate flags. Fuck Biden.
Oh,
The half Confederate, half American flag, and some other stuff. The infidel flag and all of that good shit. They're sitting and waiting.
They're getting
continue to go down towards downtown Gatlinburg.
They're
right?
getting creative. You had a half Confederate, half American flag.
100%.
Wow.
And
don't they understand the Confederates lost to the Americans?
Hmm?
Oh, never mind. Why am I?
So what's funny was there's like
you are fake news.
Confederacy won.
There's like a fence, like separating the edge of the hotel property from the sidewalk, and then there's the streets, right? So I'm just like this, looking at them, and my wife, she's a couple of feet away from me, and she's looking, and she's pointing, she's showing the kids, she's showing like these are hateful motherfuckers, and da 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 da. You know what I mean? So I walk over to my wife.
Heritage, not hate. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Fuck Biden is part of their heritage. Anyway, I walk over to my wife because they all see us now because I got on this fucking bright ass yellow shirt.
I'm surprised they didn't say fuck Kamala.
And I walk over to my wife and we give each other the biggest kiss in the world while they're looking at us. And then I look right at them, and she's like, "Don't start anything." I'm like, ain't not one of them motherfuckers getting out of that truck.
They ain't doing shit.
They ain't gonna do a damn thing. They're gonna sit at that light, watch, try to give me the stink eye, give us the stink eye, and then they're gonna drive on their merry way. Not one of them.
Funny how kissing your wife is starting something in some places, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And these are the same people who are probably gonna sit there and preach about the moral degradation of America when you have a fuck Biden. Now,
and
don't let them take prayer out of church, their prayer out to schools. But then at the same time, let me just print up this fuck sign. Let me just print this up. That's the Christian.
And they'll be in church on Sunday.
Exactly.
You know.
Do they have those? Do they take that flag down when they park the pickup truck?
Right. They probably park it right there in the parking lot. You know.
Damn it, Jasper! I told you to pull that thing down. And then they in the parking lot trying to like stuff it up underneath the seat.
They've got an S they throw up over the F. Real quick. Also, we have our producer extraordinary, Michelangelo Faminier. Faminaba Ding Dong. Hello.
Greetings and salutations, Earth creatures. And
we also have me, so no one cares.
Yeah.
Mikey will read some comments from some of the listeners as they tune in. Thank you for tuning in on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, et cetera, Periscope. If you're listening on Periscope or Facebook, especially Periscope, come on over and listen to us on YouTube or Twitch because Periscope finna be going bye-bye.
Are you serious?
Real soon. Yeah. So I don't know if it's going to be replaced by something, like if it's just going to become Twitter video. I don't know. They're not saying.
I think that's what it's going to be called.
That may be the case.
Twitter Live, I think.
But if you're listening on Facebook, come on over and to YouTube and just type in Dig on America or go to youtube.com/Dig on America in your browser, and you can join us there because it's a much better listening experience. So, or if you're on Twitch, twitch.tv/DOA podcast. So, first news story of the day. Apparently, Matt Gaetz is in some trouble.
What are you doing?
I'm not sure who's in more trouble now, him or Deshaun Watson, who had all of his sponsors drop him. But
no. They suspended.
But well, one way or the other. 5 things to know about the Matt Gaetz drama. I'm going to read a little bit on this from the LA Times. So, and forgive me today, I have a little bit of a sore throat, which is really going to fuck me during my my read later, but it is what it is. Prominent conservative and close ally of Trump is being investigated as part of a federal sex trafficking probe involving a 17-year-old. So Matt Gaetz has denied these claims. He has brought Tucker Carlson into this and said Tucker Carlson remembers the person. Tucker Carlson's like, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
You're not throwing me out of that bus. Hey, my family said, motherfucker.
It's just pretty hilarious. So what? Just real quick, your reaction to the Matt Gaetz fiasco? He's showing text people on the Senate floor or the Congress floor. Taking a trip to the Bahamas with some girls. Apparently, we don't know how much of this is true and how much is not. I'm sure we'll figure it all out in time. But Trump also said, I never offered him a pardon because apparently he was trying to get
a blanket. He was trying to get a blanket.
Perpetual pardons. Yeah. So Big House, your thoughts? Just a lot going on with your favorite congressman.
Here, the thing is, you find this with Republican congressmen because they're a party of values and morality, right? Mm-hmm. But they always getting caught up with their dick out.
Always.
You know what I mean? It
used to cost them.
They get caught up with their dick out, and they all like you had the one guy that was soliciting people in the airport bathroom. You got
the gay
real man of genius. Here's to you, Mr. Airport Glory Hole, you sucker.
Mr. Toe Tapping Glory Hole sucker.
Show me a text on the Congress floor.
But and then you got the prominent anti-gay politicians that always get caught with a boy.
You're gonna love my nuts.
The most repressive people were also the ones that are doing the shit that they're railing against. It's part of their guilt, I think.
Oh, I know the My Pillow guy loves penis. I guarantee that guy loves penis.
That mustache has been frosted many a time.
He has to be the biggest.
Allegedly.
Yeah, he has to be one of the most gay people in the world because the way he hates gays.
Yeah.
He must have a little bit of gay in him, or
thinks thou doth
a few gays in him.
I'm just saying.
You're making a lot of noise over there.
You're making a whole big stink.
When nobody even talking about gay people, why do you keep bringing them up?
And I think somewhere in the Matt Gaetz archives is some.
Have you tried this ham sandwich? But gay people, I don't like gay people.
So my thoughts are this. If the investigation was greenlit by the Trump DOJ.
Yes.
That's all you need to know as far as the probability that this shit's real. Because if the Trump DOJ said, damn, we gotta do something about this, because if this comes out and it comes out that we knew about it and didn't do anything, and we've been preaching all of this save the children shit.
Yep.
So my thought is the probability is high that he is guilty. You know what I mean? And, especially when you weren't even the subject, they stumbled upon your shit because they had the other dude. You know what I mean?
They just walked in the closet and tripped over it. You left it on the floor.
Right. Oop, here's some pedophilia. Almost tripped in this fucking pedophilia. Somebody get this up off the floor. As you can see, I'm putting some lotion on.
Bring the Kirby in here. God damn it. Mikey, your thoughts on Matt Gaetz?
He has another thing. Like, what was the other thing that was like his main claim? Like, he was not in trouble, but he like said something crazy. I can't remember exactly.
He was like flirting, saying weird stuff about Tiffany Trump, like love your eyes on Twitter or something like that. So, it's like just like, oh, just what a
Trump
beautiful.
Told that DOJ like right now investigate him. He said what tonight?
I heard think about that.
I heard he said, "Hey Tiffany, 18 yet?" Giggity.
I think she's over 18, but
she's older.
That's a great fucking point, because that's about the same time as they open this investigation, because this was like right after the election or right before. So this was like November or this, December, maybe possibly late October, when he was like just totally googly eyeing her on Twitter, just like making comments on all her pictures and like,
he ain't married.
Love your, oh, look at those legs, man. Tiffany. Woo. Look at those eyes. I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know.
He's not married. And like in one of his little,
he's got kids.
In one of his little things, he was like, I've never been on these websites. I've never been with an underage girl. I haven't done any of these things that they're talking about. I'm looking forward to marrying the love of my life.
I never slept with that woman.
Yeah.
We were up all night.
Right.
Where that's from? What's the source?
No.
That was in the 90s during the Monica Lewinsky trial. That was Shawn Michaels said that on Raw. He goes, I did not sleep with that woman. I was up all night doing that Degeneration X.
That's the classic lie detector test. Passing. Did you sleep with her? Nope. No.
Shawn Michaels actually a big evangelical, believe it or not, or at least he was. I don't know if he is anymore.
He's just a sexy boy. He's not your boy toy.
I'm just a boy toy. Yes, that's exactly correct. Way more exciting though than his arch rival Bret Hart. All right, guy. So I don't really want to talk about Matt Gaetz too much more. What else you got? You had another topic you want to inform me on.
Couple
Matt Gaetz. We'll follow up on this as it goes.
Mikey, lead us in. Mikey.
Over the weeks.
Now I promised Dutch that I had found his new favorite, historic Boston Celtics player. And he looked befuddled because he had not heard the news. Oh boy.
Well, you said Paul Pierce was my new favorite Celtic, but
yes,
he's actually always been my favorite Celtic.
You're gonna love him even more now.
You're gonna love him.
Okay.
So,
okay.
My man,
you're gonna love my nuts.
My man was having a party, little kickback at the chateau. Something light.
All right, he's chilling, kicking back.
Had some people over. They probably played cards. Had some drinks.
Yeah, had some Magnum service.
Little bit of that.
Rolled up a couple. Rolled up a couple just to pass around.
Little bottle service. Let's go.
I mean, people was a lot of these people are former athletes. There was a couple of masseuses.
Oh,
I've got something for you.
There was a masseuse or two in the building.
Was Watson there?
Homie in trouble. And also there were some dancers, because if there's music playing, obviously you got to have people dancing. There were a couple of dancers.
Booty bounce, booty bounce.
Let me see that Tootsie roll to the left, to the left.
That's
to the left.
It was straight up and down, baby, straight up and
down. So he decided, you know what? This is such a kickback. Let me pull out my phone and go live on Instagram. I may have forgotten to mention that he was smoking all kinds of weed. He was drunk as shit, and the girls was out there getting buck wild on his Instagram live.
Yes, and he was inviting more women over, and at some point, I think he tried to invite one of his colleagues from ESPN to the spot as well. I think it was Rachel Nichols.
I'd invite Rachel Nichols over.
Yo, they were getting buck in there.
Buck wild. Like he's live, right? And over his shoulder, there's literally a woman on the ground twerking. Literally.
Yeah.
My question is, why wasn't I invited to this party?
Oh, it looked like it was a stone groove.
Corona super spreader event.
No Corona protocols at all.
No masks, no thongs.
It was straight smell like alcohol and ass.
It was debauchery.
Weed.
It was
like he's literally on the phone with
I think all these gangsters are going to hell. They're all going to hell.
Hey Monica, if you're around, come over. Now this is a married Paul Pierce too. So
not no more.
Why the fuck would you be live, dude?
Was Matt Gaetz at that party?
No, they were all over age. Matt Gaetz is the white R. Kelly.
Have you lost your damn mind?
Not White Kelly. That's wrong.
Okay.
He's the W Kelly.
So but he doesn't play anymore, so there's not going to be.
No, but he got fired. Oh, of course. He was an analyst on ESPN.
And who owns ESPN, Dutch?
ABC? Disney?
No, who owns ABC?
The
Disney.
Mouse. Yes.
Yeah.
You can't go live on Instagram with a blunt in your mouth. Drunk people everywhere. And you got
I'm smoking a cigar, he's smoking a blunt. He's like,
did Paul Pierce need that job though?
Not really. His net worth is $70 million, but
yeah. So I don't have a lot of. I'm not really crying.
I mean, and that was the funny thing is that I mean, number one, that's when keeping it real goes wrong.
Yes.
But number two, after he got the word of being fired, he posted an Instagram post laughing.
Well, like I said, he don't need the money. Like, Stuart Scott was a great example of the type of guy that I had thought always should work for these companies, because like guys who played in college at a somewhat high level, know the game, but never made it pro, or maybe they had a cup of coffee, played a year. I never liked it at all when superstars started becoming analysts. Now, that doesn't mean all of them are bad. Shaq is hilarious. Barkley is hilarious. Like, those guys are
the
like
TNT squad.
Kenny Smith.
The TNT squad. The TNT squad is the exception to this rule, and maybe two or three others. But in general, like, I get it that like if you're doing the Cubs game, you want to have maybe a former Cubs player on. I get that. I'm talking about like, guys who are doing these national shows and like Sunday game day NFL and stuff like that. I'm not saying you can't have them on the show.
Tony Romo's pretty good. And
Tony Romo is actually pretty funny, believe it or not.
Troy Aikman's all right too, but he's a
no, he's horrible. Troy Aikman is not good, and Joe Buck or Jack Buck is not either. Joe Buck is not either. Both of them. They were well. No, the dad was good. The son sucks. Whichever one is the son. I forget which one the son is.
I think it's Joe. Joe's the more recent one.
You know who I despise the most though? It's fucking Chris Collinsworth.
Collinsworth has grown on me over the years, but Collinsworth also
nerves,
he also wasn't that good. Like most people don't even remember that he played in the NFL.
Yeah, I do because I'm
a goofy dude.
I'm a fucking football dude, but
yeah, but he was like what, a 2-year starter on the Bengals?
Oh no, he played some years, man. Chris Collinsworth was all right.
I don't remember him being any good. So
y'all are missing the last little cherry on top of the story that I didn't that I don't even think Haas knows.
I might not.
Cam.
Did they have a Confederate and American split flag there?
What is it called? Cam Stream? Cam Soda? Something like that. Whatever the
Cam Soda. I've heard of Cam Soda.
It's people be getting a freak on and doing all that shit. They offered him a position that looks like you're currently unemployed. We'd love to have you on doing a weekly wrap up of the NBA for us. We'll give you $250.
Whoa.
And you can have the girls twerking, drink, smoke, do whatever the fuck you want. Come on over.
If you think people wouldn't watch, you're lying.
He said the CEO was like, we don't have any NBA content. We will gladly start doing it if you need somewhere to go. I was like,
interesting.
I found out that last part today when I was listening to another podcast. And
that's crazy.
And ironically, the dude was on there. He's like,
okay, so hold on.
Won't he do it?
Hold on a second.
Won't he do it?
I would also like to send an offer to Paul Pierce to join Dig on America. We'll pay you $260.
$2.60.
Who is we?
$260 a year. That's what we're talking here, right?
We'll get no.
But that's our offer.
He could take it or leave it. That's up to him.
Yeah, you could take it or leave. We'll give you 200.
Court, Paul.
So you want to come? You want to be with Mikey? You want to hang out with the big Hussein? You want to grace the airwaves with the Dutch man? You want to have all the crazy people in the chat talking shit about you every time you say something 1% that doesn't agree with their views? Come on over on this show, Paul Pierce. We want you here. The invite is open. Join Dig on America.
Yeah, but we stream on YouTube. You cannot have girls' asses.
No, we'll go to Daily Motion only. We'll do Daily Motion only. We're good.
All right, so Chris Collinsworth played 7 years for the Bengals.
How many of them good?
He was over 1,000 yards 1, 2, 3, 4 times.
I don't remember
the Pro Bowl. Got to the Pro Bowl 3 times. He caught 5 passes for 170 yards in Super Bowl 16.
Right. I remember that.
This is a dumb person question, but I feel the need to ask it because I'm so disconnected from football. In the Pro Bowl, do they do like AFC versus NFC?
Yeah.
They used to. Now they have a mixed team.
Everybody's all just okay.
This year, they did it on Xbox.
Didn't they play Madden?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, Madden. It's Xbox, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah, they did a Madden game. So I don't know who played it, but it was
they 13-year-old son who was up there crushing everybody.
Crushing people.
Oh,
get it together. Get it together. That cover 3 ain't gonna work.
Those white guys who act black who are always on that reality show where they do the Madden. Remember that? They'd always have hey yo dog, come on dog, get out my way dog, I got you. Blitz, motherfucker, blitz.
Do y'all remember the rapper The Game? Well, I mean, he's not.
Yeah.
You know, he's still ranked #1 in the world in Madden and has been for like 15 years.
Damn, he's out there doing big work.
Like he's never lost a single online game of Madden.
Why won't he go to the Madden Bowl and get that money?
Because he's a rapper making millions of dollars.
I suppose he's probably living off residuals now.
He's still putting stuff out. He what's it called? Like that's why he changed his rapper name to The Game.
Mm-hmm.
Is because
you just gotta stay away from Ja Rule. He'll be good.
Ja Rule.
Ja don't want that smoke. He Afro Latino. He don't want that smoke. You better cool out. You better cool out, Ja. Oh, should we bring up DMX?
Let's talk about Hubert Davis first.
Okay. Go ahead.
All right, so I don't even think that Mikey knows about Hubert Davis.
No, don't know.
Okay, do you know who Hubert Davis is?
No.
You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier.
How you know?
Okay. So Hubert Davis used to play for the Knicks. Has been a longtime assistant coach at University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. Okay. Mm-hmm. The head coach, Roy Williams, retired,
right?
And Hubert Davis was tapped as the new head coach because he also played at UNC.
Yeah, and he is African American.
He is black.
So he was going to be
the first black head coach at North Carolina.
Yeah,
very good.
Go ahead,
he gets the job unless Bill Self changes his mind and decides he wants to have the job there.
Fuck out of here, Bill.
Because he likes to follow Roy Williams everywhere after he says he doesn't want to.
So, press conference. He's doing a great job. He gets asked, how does it feel to be the first black head coach at UNC? He's like, oh, I'm the 4th black coach overall at North Carolina, but it's very profound. We're breaking barriers, da-da-da-da-da. It's a big moment.
Okay.
Very gracious. Then he takes the steering wheel and goes,
This is at the press conference.
At the press conference, he sits there and he says, I'm very proud to be the coach at North Carolina, be the first black coach in North Carolina.
And
then he says, I am also proud that my wife is white and that I have mixed babies, biracial babies. That was one of the few times when I listened to that, I was like, I blurted the N-word out. Like, because Mikey and I know the tropes that are thrown around people that are dating or married interracially from the black side and the white side.
Yeah.
From the black side,
that's a very weird thing to say.
Number one, it has nothing to do with North Carolina basketball. It has nothing to do with the quandary of lack of black head coaches in NCAA Division I sports.
Maybe he was trying to say I'm not quite as black as you think.
I don't know. But the thing is,
he didn't bring up no pick and roll.
Remember,
he didn't talk about no zone defense.
Just for the record, folks. Just for the record, I am an Uncle Tom. Okay, let's not forget. everyone's called me an
He's
Uncle
like-
Tom my whole life, so I don't know if I really qualify as the
Right.
first black head
But
coach
here's
for
the
North
thing.
Carolina.
Historically speaking, if you want to get it right, you don't call
What are they?
somebody
What is
Uncle
he
Tom,
talking about?
Right. The thing is this. On the black side, you know, and Mikey and I know this well, black women and black people, especially people that call themselves pro-black or hotep, will say, if you're dating or married to a white woman, you are a lesser or weaker black man.
You're a cuck.
Yeah, and that you couldn't handle, you know, a black woman. You hate yourself. You know, you hate black women, and you prefer.
Ay, caramba!
You prefer white women to black women. Blah blah blah. Right. And then on the white side, it's like, oh, black dudes that are like that. You know, they're more docile. They only date the white women that even white men don't want, blah, 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 stuff like that. So when he said this out of his mouth at a press conference for the whole world to hear, you got people from both sides going, aha, see, I told you, I knew it. And I felt, you know, as a black man who has a white wife and, you know, do my best to give back to my community, mentor, blase, Skippy, and all that good stuff. I hated it because you knew that this is like just reinforcing a stereotypes on both sides of the issue of interracial marriage. And Dutch, you know a little bit about that too, but on both sides of the issue, especially for black men, he's reinforcing these stereotypes, and for no reason at all, he just blurted that out, and he's getting
no sense.
He's getting roasted like a motherfucker on black Twitter and black social media.
So again, like just like the My Pillow dude who just keeps bringing up penises all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Who told you to? Was that weighing heavy on your heart that day, or did somebody look at you like, yeah? And he had like
cocaine is a hell of a drug.
He had an afro with the pick in it, and then like, but why would that? Like, what,
I'm proud and he said it, and I thought that they were paraphrasing. When I heard about the story, I thought they were paraphrasing, and he said something about, you know, how strong she is, blah blah blah, and she happens to be white. But no, when I watched the live video, this dude said, "I'm also proud that my wife is white."
Was there something earlier in the interview?
No. How do you feel about being the first black head coach in North Carolina?
Well, I'm not completely black because my wife is white.
I just and it was just like, you know, and that the reason why we're talking about it, I wanted to bring it up.
Is he trying to be accepted by North Carolinians?
I don't know.
He already got
because
the job.
That makes you less accepted.
Yeah.
Charlie Strong. They told Charlie Strong when he was up for there was rumblings about Charlie Strong's a football coach in college. There was rumblings about him being considered for the head coaching job at LSU or another SEC school, Southeastern Conference. And the powers that be basically were like, hey, your wife is white, so you're never going to get a job at an SEC school as a head coach. And sure enough, he's been to Florida Atlantic.
Is that what he was
Texas.
Talking about? Maybe he
was. No. There's no way to tie what the fuck he said back to, because North Carolina's in the ACC, I think, the Atlantic Coast Conference, not the SEC.
No, that's true, yeah.
So there was no reason for him to say that. And it was just very problematic for interracial couples, especially black men who are married interracially or dating interracially all across this nation, because we fight that every single day almost.
Now, there are, just to be fair, and I mean, I don't know if it's fair, but just to kind of join the conversation on that, like as a white guy, you know, I've dated more than my fair share of black women.
More than your fair share of women, period, dude. Look at you.
Well, yeah, but I've probably dated 12 black women in my life.
There you go.
And well, I don't know if the word dated is always appropriate, but nonetheless.
Oh shit. Cat daddy.
But well, I mean, I don't know, but like multiple, right? Like more than 4. would be like what I would have called my girlfriend. And I can tell you for
like
sure,
you own them like property. That's why you
that
say
there
like
was
yours, because you own them because they're property of. No, I'm just kidding.
It's funny that you say that, because it was the opposite of that. It was the perception that I always was akin to was or exposed to, I should say, is that I was her money source, and that she ran over me, and she was only dating me because I was paying all of her bills.
Buying them Fila classics.
And that she was definitely cheating on me because I had a small wiener. Yeah. Or I must eat really good pussy, or, which is also, that part is actually very true.
That's none of my business.
But
don't need to know.
The media said what? Ha 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 ha.
Oversharing.
But no, I didn't overshare. I'm just throwing that out there.
Oh, no, you certainly are.
Hey, just in case Tiffany Trump is listening.
Hey, Melissa, you hear that?
No, she doesn't hear this show.
So I'll give her a link.
She has no interest in my opinions whatsoever, Melissa. She's
like my wife.
In fact, my opinions. This is something I should probably share too. Every single problem that I have in my marriage is because of my social opinions.
Yep. Yeah, of course.
Right. Like she thinks that if she doesn't believe everything an exact certain way, that the entire family won't be together in heaven. And she feels like my view is like, because I believe that we should treat gay people with respect, which she doesn't treat them disrespectfully, but she's very adamant that, because the church says it's a sin, then therefore it must be a sin and they can't go to heaven.
How many kids y'all got?
4 together, 2 of which she adopted. So
you got 4 kids.
Yeah.
All total?
Yeah. Our 2 sons, which are the little ones, which are biologically both of ours.
Okay.
And then my oldest daughter, she adopted them. So, and she's a great mom, but she's
against you, buddy.
The what?
The statistics.
The statistics are always against me. I don't look like Channing Tatum. If I looked like Channing Tatum, then the statistics would be in my favor.
Why did you go to Channing Tatum?
Is it 1 in 4?
All right, Chris Hemsworth, whoever you want to throw out there.
Probably 1 in 5 or 1 in 8 or something like that.
What is 1 in 5? What are we talking about?
Statistics of a person being gay.
Oh, yeah, that's actually way too high. It's about, I thought it was like 1 in 3. I think it's like 11. No, I think it's like 9 to 11%,
which is 1 in 8.
Yeah, but it's not 1 in 4. But anyway, that's not the point. Yes. The point is that she would say, for example, that because of the fact that I feel a certain way about, like, gay people, that my kids might therefore be more open to becoming gay themselves because dad says it's okay. And that's not acceptable, because
that's not how it works.
Yeah, I know that. But like I said, this is just, and like, look, I love my wife. She's socially, she doesn't understand life, right? She doesn't get politics. And she's the least religious person that you'll like. She'll never listen to shows, so I don't have to worry about this. But like, she's super into religion, but she has nothing to do. She goes to church Sunday, goes to church the next Sunday. In between that, there's almost nothing except for maybe a Bible verse here and there. And it's like,
she's a cultural Christian.
That's exactly correct. And it's like, and that's fine to be that. But like, she just wants to have these particular views. And she's like, my views on all these political things are wrong. She's just toes the Republican line just because she was taught that way her whole life, and she has to, otherwise she's traded on her family, even though she's like openly against it on a personal level that I know about. Publicly, she has to be on that side, right? So every single relationship problem that I have is because I don't put up with her shit. I could very easily just kowtow and just say nothing and say, I don't want to argue with you about this. And then I get to have sex every night. But because I stick to my guns and I don't let her get away with her bullshit, I get to have sex once every 2 months. So I have huge penalties for holding these views in my life, right? And it's like I believe in what I say, but like it's like there are consequences to this for me that are real. Maybe people will say, well, find a new woman. Again, I don't look like Chris Hemsworth, so I can't just walk out of the house and find another hot chick, just running up to me on Tinder. So, it's and plus I have 4 kids at stake here. So
we're getting a little in the weeds, Dutch. Let's maybe
I know but this is just this. So who gives a fuck? We're in the weeds. But that's it was
getting a little personal. I just didn't want you to accidentally say too much. That's all. Looking out.
No, I've said. Haas? I've said all this before, haven't I? Maybe not all in that sentence. Yeah, I have.
Not all in a row.
Not all in a row, maybe not. Yeah, but
didn't know about the frequency. Didn't need to know.
Oh, well, okay. All right. Well, that one. But all right.
I'm like, whoa, this one putting it all in the street.
I was just trying to help it.
Only on Dig on America podcast, you get this kind of in depth.
You do. Well, that probably won't make the audio. That probably won't make the audio version.
Not listen to DOA 47.
She doesn't listen to this show.
Okay. So all right. When that frying pan come flying out the kitchen.
She says she refers to this show as your stupid podcast. So
just your luck, Dutch. Just your luck. This will be the fucking one, dude.
Well, you know what? Then I'm a strong man who says my opinion, right? So now you should love me. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, guys, we're gonna be crowdfunding a camper for Dutch to live in. Because shit's about to get real.
He'll be in the front lawn of his house.
Hey, all right, you know what? It is what it is. All right, let's get into the history topic here.
Please, for the first time I ever said that.
That's the first time I've ever been like, yeah, let's get to the history.
Please.
All right, so now my 8th grade social studies teacher, Mr. Humble, taught me things that it turns out after doing my own research wasn't exactly the whole story. And today, the topic that we will discuss is the tick-tock rocking around the clock national debt and deficit, which are indeed not clocks, rather calculators. Oh, but not that either. So one of the founding fathers of the United States was Alexander Hamilton, who, interestingly, was recently discovered to have also been the founding father of hip-hop music, proven by his rise to fame in the 2019 musical bearing his name. And so, as I discuss the beginning of this week's topic, I will do so in MC Hammy Hamilton classic hip-hop style.
Oh, God damn it. Go back to your sex life, please.
Back in 1789, things were looking really fine with a new constitution. America was new, son, won the revolution. Air was really clean because there wasn't no pollution. I had a solution, build the U.S. credit. We need a central bank and we need to go in debt. Debit wasn't even a term yet. We need to borrow money so to pay all the war vets. Now, Bert says I'm a dummy, but I made a strong bet. I suggest we view our debt as an asset. Can I get some ass yet? Infrastructure? Yes. I'm a tax booze and write the states a blank check. Boom. So now back to my regular voice.
Oh my. What just happened?
We, the co-hosts of DOA, the podcast, apologize for those last 40 seconds.
No, you
please don't turn off.
I would like to see either of you do it better. That's the first time I've rapped in 25 years.
I've written a few bars, but I would never.
Well, go ahead.
I would never,
you can try to take me out anytime you want. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
Why I got it?
All right.
No need. I don't fall for that shit, man. I'm a Carpathian.
Hamilton had President George Washington's ear, and he signed the national bank that I just mentioned in that rap into law in 1781, which of course was met with uproar. Representative Fisher Ames, I think he might have founded the department store Ames, observed that an invisible line had formed between members of Congress, settling into a north-south divide. Big Haas. If you would read this in the voice of
whatever the fuck I want. Okay, here we go.
Ice Cube.
So, to the northward, we see how necessary it is to defend property by steady laws. Shades confirmed our habits and opinions. The men of sense and property, even a little above the multitude, wish to keep the government in force enough to govern. At the southward, a debt-compelling government is no remedy to men who have land and Negroes and debts and luxury, but neither trade, nor credit, nor cash, nor the habits of industry, or of submission to a rigid execution of law. They have continued antis and have assiduously nursed the embryos of faction, which the adoption of the Constitution did not destroy. It soon gave popularity to the antis with a grumbling multitude. It made two parties.
One of which was hosted by Paul Pierce.
Booty bounce, booty, booty, booty.
The other by Alexander Hamilton. So move forward 200 years. And now debt is calculated in general as a percentage of GDP. However, having a debt under the GDP is not necessarily needed, though often referred to as some sort of fiscal cliff. It's like this danger zone. Ooh, we're getting close to the GDP.
Way to the danger zone.
Yeah, there we go. Now, debt is the total of our outstanding liabilities, and deficit is the difference between spending and what the government takes in. The largest single holder of government debt is, of course, our beloved socialist masters across the Pacific, China.
They're communists. They're not socialists.
Wait, hold on. I'm hearing from the producers this is not true. So it must be Russia. Russia must be the holder, the biggest holder of debt. Is it?
Also,
It's China.
Also commies.
No, it's not Russia either. It must be George Soros. Is that correct?
Yep, that's right.
Nope.
Okay. Hold on. I'll find this. Oh, no, wait, this can't be right. Fox News never reports this. This can't be. The largest holder of U.S. government debt is the U.S. government.
Bum, bum, bum.
You mean OANN is lying to us?
No, it's China, dude. They're not allowed to lie. I saw that on the internet.
China, Japan both own about 7 to 10% of our debt on average over the past decade or so. And for every dollar of debt the U.S. Owned by other countries, the U.S. owns about 85 cents of debt on that dollar in other countries. So China also, by the way,
Japan.
China and Japan, as I said, yes, they're both around 7 to 10%. Japan at the moment is number one, though they kind of piggyback each other. And then I want to say it's like Barbados or something as third. It's some country that you would never think of. But China also, by the way, can't just call in this debt whenever they wish. Okay, that's not how bonds work, unless you're James Bond. And if you're ordering it martini, shaken, not stirred. But if you've ever bought a bond,
I have the answer.
Who's number three?
Japan 1.27 trillion, China 1.08 trillion, United Kingdom 3.95 billion. It's a big gap between.
That's a big gap.
Yes, but who's fourth then? I'm wondering.
Ireland.
Okay, so it used to be like some random Caribbean country, but anyway,
Brazil.
No, they may have cashed in their bonds and killed their leaders. But anyway, again, China can't just call on this debt whenever they wish, because that's, again, not how bonds work. And if you've ever bought a bond and then did cash in a year later, you may have noticed that you did not get to retire afterwards.
Nope.
Furthermore, for those of you on the right wing who wish for the government to be run like a business, I give you the tale of a fictional sci-fi character, Padawan Mikey Famine. So Padawan Famine has just invented a video game that allows you to put on a VR headset and engage in realistic, passionate sex at any time with a variety of beautiful human beings and the occasional polar bear.
The fuck?
And gets Andrew Mackie to endorse this amazing creation.
Who's Andrew Mackie?
No, Anthony Mackie from
Anthony Mackie,
Winter
thank
Soldier.
you.
Oh, okay.
Winter Soldier Falcon.
So Patawan famine has two choices: to withhold this creation, which would likely end rape and sex crimes throughout the world until he saves up enough money to mass produce it sometime around the year 3007, or he can do something interesting and unheard of. He can borrow the money to start his business. So with this money, he can build Famine VR factory, buy the raw materials, pay the employees to produce, pack, and ship his orders. So as you can see, borrowing money is not a problem if you're creating tangible assets like the factory and the VR and the VR headsets themselves, which those things actually exist in the real world. So that money is, or of course, if that money is providing a social good that promotes the general welfare, then we can pay back these bonds with ease because of profits. Maybe Mikey's, let's say, making profits of 20% that far exceeds the interest on the loan of about 2 to 3%. As it turns out, U.S. currency is also very popular worldwide, and the U.S. has the luxury of having other countries that want our debt because it's valuable and also very cool to own American stuff. Now, this is not to say that we can be irresponsible or just throw money away into silly programs or just one program or artificially increase our currency, because if we did this, then we might end up like Greece or Venezuela or Italy.
But we do that.
But anyway, people do want us to do that, yes, but that's highly unlikely. If you own any bonds, you likely own part of the U.S. debt. So congrats to you, listener. Now, let's close with the politics of the national debt. In the 1990s, we had surpluses because of economic expansion where people make more money, increasing the taxes that were paid in, and thus we had more money coming in than we had going out. The national debt is now about $28 trillion, and Republicans are screaming, especially this week, that we are borrowing from tomorrow and that they're comparing our national debt to a credit card, which, as I've already explained, is completely and utterly dishonest, especially because it's the deficit that is key, not the debt. Now, that's not just to say that raising taxes will fix the issue, but what's important is two things: to get something from it and to raise money in the right ways to offset it. Reagan screamed about balancing the budget, but only made cuts to Medicaid and food stamps while cutting taxes and tripled the debt. Bush 41 and Clinton brought us to the surplus I mentioned, and then Bush 43 signed into law 2 tax cuts coupled with a war in the Middle East, which exploded, boom, 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 the debt and helped cause a recession, which was inherited by Obama. And that is when the free stuff today by taking money from our kids, Sarah Palin. Oh, you give them the free money. They give up the free stuff today, and we're taking from our children's,
Where is she from to you? Like, what was?
She's from Alaska, but they talk like Canada.
That was like an old Yiddish woman. Like, what was that?
Have you ever been under the impression that I am good at impersonations?
No.
Okay, then go fuck yourself. Right. So anyway, so that jargon all returned. Interestingly, then Trump was elected and further blew the deficit into an all-time high, again with cuts for the rich and irresponsible spending, even before the COVID-19 stimulus. The companies who benefited generally used the money on stock buybacks rather than having it trickle down, and are forecasted to cost us even more money. And I will leave you with this Mitch Mulvaney quote. Quote, "The worst thing in the whole world is deficits when Barack Obama was the president. Then Donald Trump became president, and we're just less interested as a party." Mm-hmm. Or as MC Hammy Hamilton, or possibly Paul Pierce would say, "Partay, baby, park the car past the Buddha and the
booty bounce, booty,
and give me that Famine VR." So there is your dig for the day. Now I do have a quick. Why am I not seeing this here? I do have a quick video that I want to play for you guys, but I will let you guys chime in real quick with your thoughts before I play this? Or do you want me to play the video first? It's only 2 minutes, but it's super fast.
You're super fast.
Oh, it's 2 minutes.
Okay. I'm going to play this first then. It's actually 3 minutes and 10 seconds, but let me tell you that. Listen, I'm going to tell you this right now. It's the fastest. The good old bait and switch. It's economist Richard Wolff, and this is so intriguing that it will not seem like 3 minutes. So here we
And the way to understand it is this: divide the population into two parts. Corporations, bigger ones, and rich people, 5-10% of the richest people. That's one group, and everybody else is the rest. All the mass of people and little businesses. They're the mass. They both look at the government and they have the exact same demands. Each of the two groups wants the government to do things for them. And each of the two groups doesn't want to pay the taxes to pay for what they want the government to do for them. Corporations want all the benefits of a highway system and of controlling the world economy to make it advantageous for them to function. They want the government to do all these expensive things, buy lots of stuff from these companies and all the rest, military-industrial complex, medical-industrial complex, all of that. Meanwhile, the mass of people, they want loans for their kids to go to school. They want swimming pools in the neighborhood. They want the national parks to be clean and nice, and blah, 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 public schools and all the rest. Well, you don't need an advanced degree, you really don't, to understand that if the two sides want the government to do everything possible for them, and neither of them wants to pay taxes to pay for it, then the government is going to have a problem, right? This is a problem. How has the political structure of our capitalist economy, and I don't mean just the United States, this is true everywhere, how do they solve the problem? Well, they solve the problem in the obvious way. The minute I tell you, you'll see, oh yeah, of course. If you were a politician and you had to keep delivering the things to the people who didn't want to pay for them, what are you going to do? The answer is borrow the money. By borrowing, you solve the problem. When you borrow the money, you can produce all the things the corporations want, the rich people want, and the masses want. And you don't have to raise the taxes on anybody to pay for it. That's what the people want. That's what we'll give them. So the politicians borrow. And who do they borrow from to pull this wonderful thing off? Well, you can't really borrow from the mass of people for a very simple reason. They don't have anything. So if you're going to borrow, you have to borrow from the corporations and the rich. Well, they have it. So for the corporation and the rich, they look at this situation, they hire an economist if they're not smart enough to figure it out themselves, and the economist, someone like me, explains to them, well, you rich people and corporations, here's your basic choice. If you want this society to keep going, either you pay the taxes, which will allow the government to do all the things for everybody that's wanted here, and so our society will continue, or you don't pay the taxes. But if you don't pay the taxes, you put the politicians in an impossible situation. But don't despair, because there's a solution. You don't have to pay the taxes, because you know what you can do instead? You lend it to the government. That's how we solve the problem. The rich and the corporations don't pay the taxes, puts the government in the jam, and the government gets out of the jam by going to the rich and the corporations, not taxing them, which would have gotten the money, taking care of the problem, and left the government with no debt. No, we don't do that. Instead, we go to the exact same people, borrow the money from them, so the government can do the same thing, but is stuck with a perpetual, overwhelming debt that freaks everybody out.
And there you go. And the guy talking there is the guy you see on your screen, economist Richard Wolff. So I thought that was pretty intriguing, hopefully worth the 3 minutes. Gentlemen, your reaction to today's topic. Let's go with the creator of Feminier VR. And by the way, congratulations. You're on mute, I think.
Thank you, Dutch. I appreciate that. And if you guys do want to get in on the ground level of Feminier VR headsets, just go to patreon.com/digonamerica. I'm funneling all that money into this cutting edge technology. It'll be the best sex you never had. That's our motto. I just came up with that. When do I get the text to churches?
Soon, I hope.
We have money. The problem has never been that America doesn't make money. The problem is America can't tax all that money. That's
and
the
it
problem.
create too many loopholes for other entities to shelter that money.
And so this whole Bernie Sanders is so crazy with this whole idea of wealth redistribution. It don't take long to look at how much money we make as a country, how much money all the businesses in this country make, how much money is earned in this country, and then you look at what people earn as workers. It don't take long to figure out that something's off. You don't have to be an economist to figure out that something's off. So I've been preaching this since I was 19, and I really started getting into politics. Fuck the national debt. Do you know, Dutch? You probably know this guy, Michael Medved.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely know who Michael Medved is. Yes,
called into a show back when I was a young lad, and they were.
This was last week.
Actually got through because I told them I was younger, and I was like, well, as a younger person, how do we get out of this? Because this was like probably 2000, maybe 8, 9-ish area, and the bubble had just burst, and everything's going to shit, and the economy's failing, and all the. So I'm like, so what? As young people, what do we do? Like, how do we? What's the best thing to go for? Like, are you saying that everyone should just pay more taxes, or are you saying that people should like what is the thing going forward? And I can't remember who was actually on that episode. I guess I could dig it up and figure out who was on there. Might be able to even find McCall. Who knows? But it was super strange.
Conveniently edited out, by the way.
But the thing was, they didn't really have an answer for me.
Of course,
because as far as they're concerned, as a presenter, it's good because it gives you things to talk about. And for economists, it's good because you get asked to talk about things. For rich people, it's good. Like all of these things, all this debt, all these problems that really just hurt people who don't have wealth, doesn't really bother the rich. They're completely unbothered by this.
100%.
So if they're unbothered by it, you couldn't pay me to care about the national debt.
Before Haas goes, maybe it's fair. I'm sure there's some comment you'd like to read in the chat there.
Okay. From Russ, Frustrated Atheist? Or which one are you talking about?
I don't see them. Only you see the comments. If I saw the comments, I would respond to them. I never see the comments.
Tons of Mice. Hi, Tons of Mice. It says, but God needs the cash. He hasn't worked.
God needs it. Yeah.
He said he hasn't worked in like forever.
Yeah, he worked that 7 days, and man, it exhausted him.
Easy. Yeah,
he's got a good union. He's got a really good union.
It's mostly just banter in the chat. Nothing. No big questions.
Oh, okay. Well, fuck the chat then. Big Haas, you're up.
I didn't say fuck up. I'm just saying they're just talking.
Pull your weight, chat. Damn it.
I will ask them if they have any questions.
My thing is, you got big ass businesses not paying taxes. All right. Now that's on that. That's on that level.
Let me pause you because there's an article that came out today that I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm going to because this is super important to what you just said.
Capacity.
55 businesses, billion-dollar businesses, paid zero taxes last year in the United States. 55.
See, and then you add that's federal tax, and then you add to that many of these same businesses also don't state taxes.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, little harder to get out of, but still.
A little harder to get out of, but a lot of people, a lot of them do, and they get tax kickbacks, they get incentives. We don't pay tax for the first 10 years if we build a big box place in this place, blah, blah, blah. But then you got all these states that are in debt. You're in debt, and instead of taxing the business, you shift the burden to the citizenry. Oh well, they're gonna bring this business here, then they'll pay sales tax, and if they get a job, they'll pay taxes there, and that's how we're gonna nickel and dime our money back. When you could just tax the fucking business, that's gonna make millions of dollars in that 1 year, over the year, and then over and over and over again. But they don't do that, and you know why? Because a healthy chunk of a lot of businesses' money goes to lobbyists to funnel into the pockets of these politicians, both at the state and the federal level. If you think it's not happening, well, it's happening at the federal level. If you think it's not happening at the state level, I got some prime water to sell you in the Sahara Desert.
Yo, on that same note,
Crack-a-lackin'.
You know what, man? I own a bunch of bridges. I'll sell you this bridge.
Sell them the VR company real quick.
I'm not selling that, man. You can't get... Here, let me pull it back up. If you guys want to invest, not buy, invest, go to patreon.com/digonamerica, and you can get in where it'll be the best section ever had.
And it's like Boiler Room, right? We're promising you 30% returns in like a year. Okay? 100%. Like Ben Affleck is there guaranteeing you 30% returns in a year, and Vin Diesel just jumped out the window. So now, interestingly, I wish the trickle-down economics worked.
Yeah.
I wish that it did, because the theory is great, but it's missing something, and that is that people are too fucking greedy, right? Like that they totally forget about like if everyone was a humanitarian, trickle-down economics would be the way to go, and I'd be like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Fuck, don't let these guys pay any tax at all. That's perfectly fine, because they're going to trickle down and they're going to pay their low wage workers,
it trickles
more
into
money.
their house in the Hamptons. It trickles into their Bentleys. It trickles into their tax shelters in the Caymans.
That's exactly right. And that's actually one of the reasons why I'm against the minimum wage, is because just in general, because of the fact that I think that we should pay people in different ways other than just setting a minimum wage. But that's a topic for another day. I have to give a lot of credit here right now to Joe Biden, a guy who I've been openly critical of on this show, by saying that he is finally proposed a straight tax rate of, fuck the stagnant rate, fuck the general rate. What do they call it? Starts with an E. I'm flipping out on the word right now.
I think it's in the private chat.
The effective rate. Thank you. The effective rate. I just popped into my head. He's proposing a straight 15% minimum tax for businesses that make over $2 billion a year. In other words, if you're reporting $2 billion a year to your stockholders, therefore you must pay 15% on that $2 billion.
No. It's 50% for every dollar over $2 billion, isn't it?
I believe it's 15% from $1. But I could be wrong on that. I could be wrong on that.
If they say over $2 billion, it's usually, the language is usually, if you make $2 billion $1, you're paying 15% on that $1.
I'm even fine with that, because that's better than what we have right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, you should not have Amazon making $360 billion and paying zero taxes. I know they didn't make that much.
Exactly. But yeah, you're right.
And then they're holding this fucking pageant show with
the distribution centers and shit like that.
Like, here, you know what it reminded me of? What is he doing?
Look at the private chat. I said it 3 times.
Oh, okay. I'll look.
All
right. Let me look over it. Just open your mouth.
I did.
I have an economist. Yeah, tell him to hop in. Okay, that's fine. I know who it is.
I thought you were talking to. I thought you had some honey.
I thought you were talking to your wife or something like that.
No, she's in Florida. She's having.
Yes, but that doesn't mean the other wife's not there.
This is true.
See how he gonna burn his house down and say, you know whose house needs some fire?
And
listen, he's Matt Gaetz right now. You're Tucker Carlson.
I do not want an economist in here, because I want to be the smart guy. No, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, you fuck ass.
See how we do.
Have the guys jump in, but Biden. Look, if it's over 2 billion, I'm fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
Where I don't want to see taxes raised in any way, shape, or form is on the guy who owns the plumbing business down the street.
Unless he makes over 2 billion. That's a lot of sump pumps.
I would even go lower than that. If he's making $850,000 a year in profit, tax that motherfucker. But if he's making, $78,000 a year in profits, and like that's a livable wage.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I don't think he should have to pay 28% of that in tax. But why does he have to pay it right now?
Mm-hmm.
And Amazon and IBM
it's just
and
chilling.
Google.
How many fucking, oh God, like how many fucking jets do you think that Bezos has?
Well, one for every day of the week.
How many? I mean, like super yachts.
You can't rock the same jet twice.
Right. I don't want I can't do that, man. You know what I'm saying?
And people are complaining. They're like, oh, but people like The Rock will move out of the country. Then move out of the country. See if I give a fuck.
But that's
then you don't get to.
But then don't get to live in America
anymore.
You don't have any rights on saying, you're for the American people if you don't want to pay that. That's the ultimate representation of being for the American people, is paying a fair tax.
But it doesn't matter if they leave the country, because here's the part that they forget. Those motherfuckers are replaceable. If you think Jeff Bezos has the strongest business mind on the planet or even in the country, you're wrong. Because there's a dude out there hustling, grinding. He's going to work his way up to the next spot. And guess what happens? If he makes too much money and he has to go to, he's gone. And then another one will come over. It does not have to be this whole... what's the Walgreens family? I forget what they're fucking...
The Walton family.
The Waltons. Like, it doesn't have to just be Walton.
That's Walmart, not Walgreens.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, though. Here he is. Here's my buddy. But it doesn't have to be just these dynasties.
Hey, welcome to the show. Okay, I've had enough of him. Bye. Just kidding.
Just hurtful. But that's also like, it doesn't have to be...
There's only one white man allowed on this show. God damn it.
And
that's me.
And I'm keeping us segregated because I'm just gonna, it doesn't have to be the same rich families continuing to own the wealth for generations after generations. If they feel like it's not profitable for them to stay, no one is forcing them to stay. Good luck.
And are you really gonna be that much worse off if you get taxed 15% on $850 million? If, like, say you made $2.85 billion in profit, and you're going to get taxed on every dollar over $2 billion.
They can't even spend.
Are you really that hurting? Where
Bezos lost more in he lost more in his divorce than he did by taxes. But Irish Swede, welcome to the show. For those who don't know you, introduce yourself real quick.
Hi, I'm Irish Swede. I'm a master's in econ and 18 years experience in investment banking and as an economist.
And he has a lightsaber in the background there or something.
Yep, I have an LED strip back there.
Is that a Famine VR?
He's got the prototype.
He's got the prototype of the Famine VR system back there.
No.
It is.
He was an early investor. I don't think he saw that.
He's not admitting it, but I see it is. Yeah, it's absolutely
I don't think
true.
he saw that part of the show. I think he just came in like.
Oh, so you joined in? Okay, I see. You don't listen, but you join in anyway. Okay, all right. Now get this guy out of here. Anyway, Irish Swede.
So here's the problem. You're saying that net income and cash inflows are the same thing, and that's not true.
Who said that?
You're saying profit, and you're not defining what profit is. Is profit net operating income from cash flows, or is it net income on the bottom line? Or
it's stockholder profit. What you are showing in profits to your stockholder on your financial reports.
You're still not defining it.
Okay, well then educate me on what a define would mean.
Break it down, baby. Run the knowledge.
So you have your revenues, which is your total sales, and then all your costs.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, when
your
you
overheads.
get down, you could actually show zero net income, but be positive cash flows from operating activities because of all the other things that happen in between top line revenue and bottom net income. You could also show a whole bunch of net income, but be negative on net cash flows because you had to pay say restructure a whole bunch of debt. You had to do a whole bunch of so when you're talking about this, you have to realize, okay, what do I mean by profit? Do I want to tax cash flows? Yes. Do I want to tax what would typically be called profit? Maybe. I mean, it's hard to define it that way because you're going to run into situations where corporations that maybe are cash tight that would have to, and you never want people to have to do this, take out debt to pay a tax bill because they had a situation in which they had to restructure a whole bunch of debt in a year that they were quote unquote profitable.
Okay, explain what you mean by having to restructure debt. How do you go about? I thought debt was debt. What do you mean when you say
when Amazon takes out debt, they take out a bond, and you could go out and buy that bond, and they're all denominated in either $1,000. I think they're all denominated in $1,000 chunks, and they have a term to them. They mature at a certain time, which means they have to pay you, the bondholder, $1,000 when that matures. So let's say is
it $1,000 or is it $1,000 plus a certain percentage?
Well, they pay you interest along the way.
Okay.
So every 6 months, you get 3%. So you're getting paid 6% over the year. And then at the end of say 10 years, they owe you $1,000 plus the 3% for that 6 months. And all of a sudden they're like, okay, well, we showed a whole bunch of profit, but that profit doesn't show that we had to pay off a whole bunch of debt and then
because the bond's maturing.
Exactly.
Right. But what they're doing though is they're floating debt because Jeff Bezos is an expert in knowing that money today is worth a little bit more than money tomorrow because of interest and stuff like that.
You use debt because it's usually the cheapest cost of capital, but you don't use too much debt for the reasons that I'm telling you. You don't want what's called a debt bomb. You don't want a whole bunch of debt maturing all at the same time. You want it rolling over. It's a very cheap cost of capital. See, equity, if he were to go out and distribute a whole bunch of new stock and dilute his current shareholders, they're going to demand a 10-12% cost of capital. That's the return they're going to demand. The banks are going to look at Amazon and be like, we need 2% from you. So of course you're going to go out and float debt because it's the cheapest cost of capital out there. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about the inflationary effect of the dollar on debt. He cares about cost of capital.
I see where you're going with that, but I have two questions for you. Number one, a lot of the businesses and the product. So like he owns his own logistics company. He owns his own warehousing network. He owns his own, they white label or private label a lot of products that they have made. So a lot of those losses when they go into say making a dishwasher are not actually losses, but they're just going into a profit in a different arm where he can write it off on one arm of the company and show it as a profit on another arm and then offset other expenses on one. He's making money on every single truck that goes across the road.
It all gets consolidated. It doesn't matter.
But you can't operate a trucking company at a loss. That's not possible to do. I know that because I work in logistics. I mean, you have to be able to have you
can have other arms support it.
Well, right, but then that arm is making the money, and if that arm owns you, then you still have this bottom line base where you have profit coming in.
It all gets consolidated to the top level, which is AMZN, and then you can go look up what the total thing like that loss would be. That you combine the profit over here with the losses over here, and it would be the same no matter what. Unless you're trying to tell me that he should have to operate all the lines at a profit.
I'm not telling you that he should have to operate all the lines at a profit because some of those lines might end up being not profitable, and that would be unethical to do that. But loss leaders are a problem because all they do is help you to suck money away from companies who are competition that would not be loss leaders and would be actual real companies that could provide that service. But you're just
gasoline at a gas station is a loss leader. it gets you in the door to go buy a candy bar, which has a 75% profit margin. That's what a loss leader is.
Impulse buys
Okay.
at the register, baby.
No, okay. That's
They sell gasoline.
how is that relate? How is that related though? We all know that McDonald's makes more money on their drinks than they do on their burgers.
Mm-hmm.
But they lose money on their burgers unless they're on special.
They price their sandwiches in a way that you'll come in and then they throw enough salt on there that you have to get something to drink.
Sure.
Right.
I mean, it's they know you're going to buy a Coke, and they know when they know they can raise the price of the Coke just enough that they can get the 90% profit margin on that. But that's only on the cost of the actual Coke and everything itself. If you buy Coke and a whole bunch of Coke and you have a carrying cost to it over time, we're
talking about cocaine, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
So I'm curious, what is it? I'm not sure I'm understanding what your argument is. What's your position?
The position that I have is I want people to be careful what they say when they say it.
Okay, what did we say that was not correct?
What's profit is profit? You know, people will look at, okay, they didn't pay any taxes. The question I always have is why, and
Sure.
and are we fixing the problem by doing what you say you're doing when you probably haven't fixed the other ancillary problems that would never even trickle over to solve the problem you're trying to. So the tax code is so freaking complicated that you could institute this 15% flat tax and it's still not affecting Amazon.
Okay, so how do you so what is it that you're proposing then?
How do we take them down, Swede?
And also, before you answer that question, what did we say that was not true? I'm trying to figure that out.
No, it's not that it's not true. It's just that it's vague.
We're not defining profit in a way that's succinct.
In a way that economists use it.
Well, I'm not even using my economics degree right now. I'm using my finance degree. So
we just
look at you.
Sprinkle that in there.
Fancy pants. All right, let's get him out of here again.
Because I was a finance major. I was a finance major who changed his fucking major and was like, nah.
They call him degree. They call him.
He changed it to PE.
I changed the speech.
My master's is a dual. It's econ and finance.
All right, well, you get the top then.
God damn.
That's Degree Bay up there. Y'all ain't never seen him on TikTok just sprinkling degrees on shit.
So what is your thought on this Biden proposal then? Because I'm thinking that's what it is that triggered your call.
I'm thinking that it's probably not going to be as effective on government income as they're going to hope it is.
Or do they wait, I got a question. Can I jump in real quick? Do you think they really hope that, or do you think that they're proposing this knowing that it's kind of smoke and mirrors?
Yes.
I love that answer.
Okay.
Real man of genius.
Here's to you, Mr. double degree politician.
Here's why they know it's going to be smoke and mirrors. They know the accounting games are just going to come back, and the people are going to be able to figure out either depreciation schedules or whatever it is, whatever they can figure it out to minimize whatever whatever profit level and whatever definition of profit that they're going to use to qualify for this flat tax. But they also know that there's going to be a huge swath of what we call middle market companies that won't be able to do that. Mm-hmm. And so you're going to affect what we call the
define a middle market company as far as net
10 to 150 million, 10 to 150 million EBITDA.
Yeah, they wouldn't be included in this though.
That depends. Well, EBITDA.
Time out. What's EBITDA?
Earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization.
Yeah,
you can't just throw EBITDA in there like I know.
I learned that.
And the middle market, and then you've got the upper middle market, which is the 150 to 3 billion.
150 million to 3 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's very broad.
Yeah. for a good reason, because you have manufacturing companies that are very tight on their EBITDA, or you can have software as a service, which is very not capital intensive, and you can have them the same size, but their EBITDA numbers are vastly different.
Okay, fair enough. So what is your
lending to them, which we do, we lend to them. We look at, okay, this is a capital intensive company. We got a lot of collateral that we can assign to this because you have machines, you have presses,
tools and stuff like that, right?
A software as a service company, they have intellectual property that's worth jack shit when they go bankrupt.
Right. That makes sense. So a manufacturing company that has, forklifts and tools and the infrastructure and, 3D printers and, chillers and stuff like that on their site has more tangible real world assets than,
lines of code.
Yeah. Like Mark Cuban's company had, for example.
Yeah. When he developed his internet radio service, the code was only worth something for a few years. And if you couldn't figure out what to do with it and who would buy it, it wasn't worth anything. So its entire valuation and everything wasn't worth anything until Yahoo paid for it.
So this from the chat, we have one person here, frustrated atheist. Hi, Russ. He says, I did math once. I'm an economist. Congratulations. and he also says, I know, I'm an economist. Ask me anything. So if you guys have any questions in the chat, or if you guys want to email us at doapodcast@gmail.com, if you have any economics questions for frustrated atheists, send them our way, and we will delete them.
So speaking of that, I threw away my garbage today, so I'm actually a garbage man.
There you go. I've thrown something in the garbage. I'm also a garbage man. And a manufacturer.
Yeah, I farted, and that's a manufacturer as well.
See, you had to bring it.
All right, so
Irish anyway, on to monetary policy and the national debt. The national debt doesn't matter. And in fact, we could probably print 50, 60, 70 trillion more dollars and it not affect a darn thing.
I agree.
And if you get into what's called modern monetary theory, it's because we should be using taxes not to fund spending, but to control monetary velocity and supply, which is in the system, which is where inflation comes from.
Mm-hmm.
I have a theory. What if we printed $1 trillion and gave it all to me? I mean, you just said we could print like 50 to 70 and it wouldn't really mess up.
Therein lies exactly why that $1 trillion wouldn't do anything. You could not spend that $1 trillion fast enough for it to affect the economy.
Challenge accepted. U.S. Mint, get on it. I am
Mikey Brewster Famigny.
He just bought Pluto.
If you go to the St. Louis Fed,
SpaceX.
If you go to the St. Louis Fed's website, they have all the coolest charts and graphs that you can get on, and you can look at M2 money supply, which is the amount of ready cash.
St. Louis, come on! I'm not going to St. Louis anything.
In St. Louis.
They're the Fed that keeps track of all this.
Who runs it? Nelly? I mean,
and Murphy Lee and all the rest of the St. Lunatics.
That's legitimate.
And Fred Bird, who is the mascot for the Cardinals,
and Mark McGuire.
I think he left.
All right, so Irish Swede, how do we fix the problem? We know that the national debt's not the problem. We explained that in the history part that you ignored. So you jumped in late, just enough to bash us on one thing that you didn't like. What friends like you? I don't know why the fuck between friends like you and then my wife, who needs? I don't need any enemies. Okay.
Who is us? He bashed you. He didn't bash me.
He didn't bash me. I didn't. I already clarified. I didn't see. He already clarified. I said nothing false. I was reading a news story about Joe Biden. So you got to blame the LA Times who wrote the story. However, what would you think would be the policy if the goal is to be able to fund programs like healthcare and infrastructure being the main two that I think are on most people's minds, how did we do that without raising taxes on Big Haas?
Yeah, I don't need no more.
Or the plumber
you don't
down the
use
street.
taxes.
You know what I mean?
Use taxes to fund anything. You use it to control the money supply.
Right, but that's not.
You're thinking about
it
backwards. You're thinking about it backwards. We can just print the money to fund whatever program you want, and then we'll just tax people to make sure that inflation stays where it is. It's backwards.
Okay.
That's the whole trip with modern monetary theory, is you have to like back away and go flip it. Taxes do not fund spending. Spending creates the problem, which is inflationary pressure, which needs to be controlled through taxes.
Okay, so you're saying that if you spend money, that spent money will create the money to pay that money, or to offset that money.
You have the Fed funding the federal government for the programs that you're talking about, such as Medicare for All. Let's just go with that. That's $1 trillion a year, I believe, or $3 trillion a year, whatever it is. You have that is money that is being spent. That is money that now has velocity to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so velocity plus money times money supply is what creates inflation. So you now need to slow that down, and you slow that down by the government taking the money back through taxation. The way it's slowed down right now is we pay
from whom?
Insurance premiums.
From whom?
Whoever you create the tax for. I mean, you can create however you want.
But you just said that you can't, because I can offset all my costs and say my lighting bill.
Well, no, the top end that everybody complains about can do that. Everybody else can't.
Right, which is the problem.
That's under our current system. That's the way it is. You have to burn the whole system down to fix that.
Okay. So here's my question. Let's say that I bought into what you said, and I decided to use that as a talking point, politically speaking. I think it's safe to say, and this, I don't mean this as offensive to you, but I think it's safe to say that when someone goes on TV or on a podcast or whatever, and just Joe listener or Joe viewer hears you say, just print the $1 trillion and we'll pay it off later. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I'm saying you sound like a fucking crazy person to Joe listener. So explain to Joe listener why you're not a crazy person in a tangible way that they can understand as to why that would work.
So the US dollar is a really cool instrument around the world that has what's called extraordinary privilege, because it's the world reserve currency. It's demanded for everything, so there's always going to be a demand for dollars.
Right, we talked about that
last March. We had a shortage of 10, not this past March, but March 2020, there was a shortage of over 10 trillion US dollars to settle current accounts in trade markets around the world. That means the US could have literally printed $10 trillion and it not affect anything, because it would have just gotten soaked up in the world trade market. And we could do that tomorrow, because it's the same thing. So the demand for the US dollar is so huge, because all transactions somehow involve the US dollar. And so you're not going to end up with Zimbabwe, where you had a $1 trillion note that could only buy a slice of bread. So the US dollar.
You're gonna let them talk about Zimbabwe like that, Big House?
Yeah, because that's truth.
Just kidding.
Why we gotta be from Zimbabwe all of a sudden?
Right.
See, it's just like you got lucky with the Nigerians. Now he think he can just spot them as he sees them. He just can guess them.
Nigeria actually has a great way of controlling their currency, in the fact that they've controlled their corruption quite well, and how they are printing more money and they are creating more currency, but they're doing it at the rate of the commodity production that they're producing. so that their currency is kind of tied to their commodity production, and they know this, and they're managing it in such a way that Nigeria actually has a stable value currency, even though nobody uses it for international transactions. Nobody uses, it doesn't have this US dollar panache to it. So, I mean, they have
that deserved by the US? Does the US dollar deserve that?
No. I mean, it's a function of World War II, when we basically told everyone, no, you will use US dollars for this.
What I thought.
Events.
Okay. Anyway, back to your point. I apologize for.
So the value of the dollar is protected in such a way that other currencies cannot be. The pound kind of has a little bit of that to it too. The pound sterling and a few others, but it is what it is. We can print a lot of money, and going forward, we can just control inflation at the 2% rate that we want to have it gone at, and utilize taxation on the other end to slow down the velocity. I mean, if you go to the St. Louis Fed and look up the money supply, it's exploded. We haven't seen inflation explode though. And the reason why is if you look up monetary velocity, it's cratered. People aren't spending anywhere near what they used to.
Okay, are you using velocity in the same way that we would use it in a logistics or sales sense, where we're saying, we're looking for freight that is going to go in and out of the warehouse quickly because we touch it more, and every time we touch it, we make money on it?
Yeah, the higher okay, so velocity of 1 means $1 changes hands once during 1 year. A velocity of 2 means $1 changes hands twice over the course of 1 year.
All right.
So, makes sense?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to make sure I'm understanding what you're saying.
So, if you think if your money supply is the same and velocity goes up, that means dollars are moving between placeholders a lot faster, and that creates inflation. If you have M2 jumping and velocity jumping, you get the spiral effect of hyperinflation. What we have now is velocities cratering while M2 is skyrocketing, because we have to have M2 skyrocketing to protect the value of the dollar from deflation.
M2 being?
M2 is the money supply. That's
okay.
That's everybody's checking account, savings account, and everything that can be spent within 7 days.
Okay.
I have a couple of notes from the chat, just real quick.
Now they're listening.
They've been here, but I've been waiting for something interesting to chime in with. And
my rap wasn't interesting enough for them?
All I got was a bunch of woes, and our viewer count went way down. So I don't know.
Oh, it went from 4 to 1. Okay, fantastic. Anyway, go ahead.
I see 5 are watching.
We got 7. Tons of Mice says, hello, Tons of Mice. I left some dollars in my jeans, and they ran through the wash and came out all panache. And then Frustrated Atheist, a friend of the show, at Tons of Mice, so you laundered money. If the Fed is listening, he just confessed. He just confessed to laundering money. So if anybody...
the FBI can go after that. Now,
prosecute that man.
It honestly, yeah. I mean, this sounds totally crazy, and it sounded totally crazy to me when we were going through it in the 500 level, and it didn't make sense, and it didn't make sense, and then all of a sudden it did. And it's hard enough to get people to understand that economics works backwards with how the government does things, because we can't do that as individuals. I can't work that way with my personal checkbook. They're thinking I go to work, get paid,
that's true.
Then I have money to go buy things.
But that's what the Republican Party uses as their defense to this in general, as they'll talk about that.
People understand.
Right. Like what I was talking about before when I said we're borrowing from our kids' future to pay for, healthcare for people on welfare. That's their going talking point.
Yeah.
I have one more thing. This is from Paul on Facebook. What up, Paul? And Paul asks,
is that Gordy? Our yes, that's Gordy, I believe, our Patreon supporter. So hello, Gordy.
What up, Gordy? Am I right to think that since the world is all on flat currency, that inflation stays flat? In part because people still value the dollar at X value, which would explain sub 2% inflation for years now.
That's an I, so it's fiat currency, which means the currency is not doesn't have anything backing it. It doesn't. It's not like a gold standard.
Small.
That's fine.
I thought that was for sure. Now
we're not on the gold standard anymore, correct?
No, we went off of it de facto in the 30s and then fully transitioned off of it with Nixon in the 70s.
And you agree we should stay off of that, right? Okay,
Yeah,
we asked the same question.
No, we should never go back to a commodity backed.
I agree.
And the reason is you will have bad actors throughout the world that will screw with that underlying commodity price to basically have economic warfare against your currency.
Okay. And that's very interesting because, you hear a lot of people out there who say they're financially literate advocating for going back to a gold standard.
You usually find the libertarians are the ones that are the loudest, or the right-wing libertarians.
No. I don't advocate for that. The gold standard is bad.
If you guys want to buy
bronze,
silver,
however, bronze or chocolate candies, yes. Chocolate candies and bronze, I'm in.
If you guys want to invest in Dutch's silver Ponzi scheme, where he just tricks you into buying all this fucking useless silver.
Yes.
Go to
it literally comes out of the Austrian tool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, what do you think of gold itself as a commodity for like purchase and stuff?
Well, we've mined the vast majority of it that is currently within the planet.
Mm-hmm.
So supply is pretty much set. You're not going to find a lot more gold. And also the nice thing about gold is I think it's like 99% of what we mined is still somewhere like usable on the earth, whether it's in a museum or not. It's still
gold.
It's still either in coins, it's still in somebody's bank vault, it's still in some sovereign wealth fund, stored somewhere. It's still like we can get at it.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it, is Egyptian.
Who is we? Are they coming to get Mikey's gold coin collection?
We as in humanity.
Have we checked? I know you're talking about people looking for gold. Have they checked them thar hills?
Haas checked them the other day.
Unless
I was sure out there.
Unless they find some mass, vein somewhere, we pretty much have a pretty good. The scientists have a pretty good estimate of how much gold is left to mine, and it sounds like a significant chunk, but I think it's 2 to 5% of what we currently have out of the ground.
Is that what you smart people are looking for on Mars right now?
I have a whole nother thing.
There would probably be a lot of gold on Mars due to the volcanic activity. So that would probably be a good place to look for it. The problem is it would cost more to transport it back.
This is what I'm
right.
So here's my all right. I know I've been talking about a lot about my
not if you pay in silver.
I know. I've been talking a lot about my small business that I want to get off the ground.
Lamar Hunt disagrees.
One of the more important ones is asteroid rodeos. There's a bunch of asteroids just floating around, and they're full of rare earth metals. All we gotta do.
Well, they wouldn't be earth metals if they're in asteroids, though.
They're rare earth metals, which means they're rare on Earth. That's why I said that word. Dick.
Mikey actually is correct in his terminology.
That makes no sense. How would it be an earth metal if it's not on Earth?
Because it's rare on the face of the Earth, and we would go.
Oh, I see. Okay, I see what you're saying.
See, wherever the meteor comes from, it might be like so plentiful there, it's like water. Or
so there might be an asteroid that's floating out there, probably the size of like a small city. That's like 85% tungsten.
Mm-hmm. Or titanium, or lithium, or whatever.
That could be very, very profitable for us to have.
Now, a lithium asteroid would actually probably save our environment, because the amount of environmental destruction you have from a lithium strip mine is worse than like a statewide fracking operation.
Is rough.
It's go. Yeah, like that area.
Go gadget lithium.
Go look at that earth that's tilled up for the lithium, and it's unusable for the next 10,000 years. It's just.
Is that because of the process they use to unearth it?
Yep. A lot of chemical usage. It's yeah. If you fell in the water, you'd die. You would
let's
just
pray that we get hit by a lithium asteroid then this week. About a half mile across. That should be all right. Right on Mikey's house.
If you guys want to invest on my my asteroid rodeo fund, just go to Dig on America or patreon.com/Dig on America, and I'm taking early investors because I got ideas of how to capture these old boys, bring them all back, and become the first quadrillionaire.
And you can have sex with them on the VR. All right, so last question, and then we got to get to the humidor, which, by the way, Irish Swede, you can stay on for that, please. But my last question for you is, what is your comment from all three of you, on Moscow Mitch McConnell's comment that corporations should stay out of politics that he made the day before yesterday, which I found to be one of the most ironic things I've ever heard. Irish Swede, go first.
When they stop lobbying, that'll be the day. So, Mitch, your campaign re-election fund, if you want corporations to stay out of politics, would go to zero real quick.
Right. That's why
you know what you're asking.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about the Georgia election law, I think, a little bit more next week. There's still some things unfolding on this. I want to kind of see how it plays out, but we will talk about that next week. So Irish Swede, please stay on, but I'm going to cut the audio.
We're not going to get our thoughts on Mitch.
No, you could. Oh yeah, you can give your thoughts on Mitch. Okay, go ahead. Okay.
So let him do it.
Yeah, do it. Well, don't wait for me.
All right. I want to say this very, very diplomatically.
Oh, he's going to say, "Go fuck yourself."
Eat a bag of dicks. Eat a bag of dicks, dude. You know, you literally drafted a lawsuit against I forget who. He drafted a lawsuit in order to allow corporations to get into fucking politics. So shut the fuck up, dude. You can't have it both ways. So go smoke a bag of poles and shut the fuck up, dude. Get your chin fixed.
Mikey?
Somebody tweeted that if Mitch McConnell don't put a turtleneck on, never mind. I won't even finish it. I'll tell you guys after the show. I'll tell you.
Oh damn! Come on, man.
There's a line in the new Suicide Squad trailer where Idris Elba's character tells John Cena's character to eat a bag of dicks, and John Cena's reply in this trailer, which is great by the way for James Gunn's Suicide Squad, is he goes, "If this beach were full of dicks, I would happily eat a whole beach full of dicks for liberty." It's just the trailer is fantastic.
I'm picturing John Cena saying it. I know he nailed it. I know he fucking nailed it, dude.
He's supposed to be playing like the douchiest version of Captain America that you can possibly imagine in this movie. So, all right. So we're going to cut the audio version there. Irish Swede, tell the people where they can find you on social media, because since you're the smartest person who's ever been on this podcast, except for me.
Well, you see my Twitter handle, so follow me there.
Your audio just went weird.
What happened to your mic?
I don't know. What happened to it?
I don't know. Anyway, it's okay.
Like in a hallway now.
You pushed it.
It's not using it. It's using your webcam.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Just give us the.
Just give us your Twitter's there, and then what? Where else can we find you?
What was your Twitter, Irish Swede?
It's at Irish_Swede. It's right there.
It's at Swede_Irish.
Swede_Irish.
Okay, there you go. Any other socials you'd like to?
And then I have a YouTube channel, Irish Swede, that you can go in, and I produce every couple months. I produce something that's relevant to the topic at hand. My last video was about the GameStop issue and the stock and what short squeezes were and why nothing was going to come out of it. And guess what? Nothing came out of it.
The Wolf of Wall Street was about you, right?
No, that was Jordan Belfort.
Yeah, you haven't proven that that's not you. Anyway, thank you.
Okay, because I don't have hair.
All right, so let's get to the part of the show, and thank you, Irish Swede. Let's get to the part of the show that everyone hates to love the most, that they love to hate. Did that make?
Pleasure not introduce who I believe is one of the baddest motherfuckers in the world.
For you being weak effing sauce.
What's up, y'all?
Hi, Big Hoss.
How y'all doing today?
I believe you've met my fitness consigliere.
All right, so today I this is a weird one. This is a weird one because
Inconceivable.
I'm kind of smoking with my pinky up, but I'm not, and you'll understand why when we get to a certain segment, that a certain part of the humidor that I talk about. I'm puffing on the Romeo y Julieta House of Verona Natural Churchill. And that's a
Verona.
Pause.
Didn't you just have a Romeo and Juliet something?
I haven't had a RYJ in a while. I don't think
You've done one before, but yes,
I've done one before, but not this blend.
Okay.
This is a Churchill. I've smoked a lot of it because we've been on a long time. It is a Churchill, of course, 77 inches. Pause.
well
And
timed.
52 ring gauge. So it's a pretty meaty cigar, but not too thick, too girthy. Very smooth wrapper. It did have a little bit of leaf veinage on it, like you can see a little bit there. Very classy band, just like a bless you, a royal blue and white band. Really classy, but eye-catching at the same time.
Like the Rat Pack, very classy band.
You know,
and also white with blue eyes.
Yes,
except for Sammy.
No, he was white also. He had a white wife.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
And biracial kids.
If you know Romeo and Juliet's, Romeo and Juliet, Capulets and the Montagues. This is the blue collared edition, is what they call this, hence the band color. Okay, and it takes its name from the family of Verona. All right, and that's where Romeo and Juliet is based in the tale. Okay, this is a mix of Mikey,
República Dominicana,
Dutch,
Nicaragua,
and Peruvian long filler. Okay.
Right, no, Swede, you got to say Peru.
Yeah.
And so
say Peruvian long fillers, Irish Swede, in your Irish Swede way.
No.
So these are long fillers. That's the innermost part of the cigar, is the long filler. The wrapper leaf is a natural San Andres wrapper. Okay. And it's a medium cigar, like straight down the middle. So a milder cigar has less nuances to it, unless your palate is extremely well developed. And I prefer the medium to full cigars, so I don't get much from milder cigars. And this is a medium where I'm getting some sweetness, I'm getting some spice, I'm getting a little bit of a woodsy note, maybe oak, maybe cedar or something like that. It's got a little bit of, hold on.
Pause for puffing.
Got a little creaminess to it. But very, very, very pleasant. There's little notes as I get through to it towards the end here, getting towards the cap. There's some like a little bit of notes of earth, but like a little bit of earthiness to it, but not very much. So it's a great
wind and fire.
They just got their ass handed to them in that verses, by the way.
Man, you better quit playing with them.
Man, the Ozzy brothers killed him. Anyway, so very good cigar. I like it a lot. It's one of those ones where, you know, it's like Romeo and Juliet is a very well-known brand. They make a lot of quality cigars. The construction is really good. I've had to relight it a couple times, and I expected to because it is a Churchill. So, you know, in a format like this where I'm talking a lot and stuff, I expected to have to touch it a couple times to bring it back to life. Pause. Mike is a juvenile, by the way.
Clearly. That was a good 80s show, though. Remember? Bring them back to life.
But as you can see, it gives off a nice smoke. The ash is nice and white.
I love white ash.
For some people, that means something. That means something if the ash is nice and white. They think that the tobacco is a better quality if the ash is white versus dark.
Everything white is higher quality.
There goes that fucking conditioning again. That's what I'm talking about. When in actuality,
the North Carolina
it doesn't
coach
necessarily matter.
The North Carolina coach likes whiter ash. Okay, so let him have his white ash.
What's the lotion pump rating on the ash?
On the ash, this is a 4 pumper. Pause. Really white, especially when I first started it. Before I touched it a couple times, the ash was like white. Okay. Like I said, this is a Churchill, and I was doing a little research on it because I wanted to know what kind of price am I looking at if I wanted to get a box of these or something like that. Oh God. So the Romeo e Giulietta House of Verona Churchill. And this is where I realized that their blue collar kind of label for it really meant something. You can get a box of 20 for $100. I'm gonna say that again.
Wait, what?
You can get a box of 20 in the Churchill Vitola. $20. I mean, $100.
Oh, okay.
So that's $5 a stick, thereabouts. You might pay like 107 to 115 or something like that. But
too rich for
a Churchill, 20 of them, and I smoked this the whole podcast, and we've been on since about 10. Look at that. I still got 3 inches to go. Pause. You know what I'm saying? And I chose today to, and it's so ironic because I didn't make this connection before, but a blue collar cigar requires a blue collar drink, right? So what did your homie do? What did your homie do?
Got you.
And I did it by mistake.
Got some Mickeys.
I got the Old Smoky Mountain apple pie moonshine. There's nothing more blue collar coal mine worker than fucking a jar of moonshine, right? So that sweet spice I was talking about.
It looks like Granny's sweet tea from Batman versus Superman.
Yo,
when I take a sip,
what's that? What's it called? You got on there? The little lid.
Oh, I got. You know what?
Yeah, you just skimped on past that. Just gonna act like Mug didn't need to see that.
Okay, so I bought this and 2 other jars of moonshine, right?
Okay.
And there was a guy behind me, and by the way he was dressed, I could tell that he knew a lot about moonshine. Right? He said to me, "Hey, buddy." I said, "Uh-huh." He said, "You're going to want to get one of those special pour lids for your jars because moonshine, especially flavored moonshine, when you pour it out of a normal, like you just unscrew the jar and pour some in, he's like, it gets sticky, and you have a harder and harder time opening the jar. He said, but if you get a pour lid, it'll pour it out nice and neat for you, and you never have to worry about screwing and unscrewing the cap and getting that. It's like a jar of honey. When you open a jar of honey and you pour it out.
Right.
So
you met the actual real Emmett Tucker.
Yeah, but he wasn't anywhere near as racist, because a racist wouldn't have told me that. So this is Old Smoky Mountain, Tennessee moonshine.
Well, he would if he owned the company that made those tops.
That is true.
Money
is
is
true.
Green.
The overalls and 17th might have fooled me. He might be walking out to a Lamborghini. I don't know. But
this this from the chat. And we have a Southern gentleman in the chat, goes by the name of Tons of Mice. He's saying,
okay.
Oh no, this is frustrated atheist. He's a Texan.
Mm-hmm.
He says, tell Big House to chase the Big Apple Pie moonshine with a green monster. It tastes fucking amazing.
I haven't had a green fucking monster. Damn, I think I was still playing football last time I had a green monster.
Well, he says the tastes complement each other, and he says it's fantastic.
So I should chase the shots of moonshine with the monster.
Correct.
So I have a depressant and a stimulant.
That's how you ride the lightning.
How did Ted Cruz make his way onto the podcast?
I did not sound like Templeton the Rat from Charlotte's Web.
And what I really like about this is
yes, you did.
what I really like about this cigar is a Churchill, right? So that's pretty long. Pause. And it has been so consistent throughout. Normally, a cigar that long, the tobacco naturally just heats up, and I put the V cut on it, so that might have helped a little bit, because it gave me a better draw. It's a looser draw. The draw is really good. It's a double cap, so that means there's two caps here, so it kind of makes it more secure for the deep V cut that's in it, and it didn't start to get charry, which is really good. That's a testament to the tobacco quality that they used. It's a testament to my humidor and its ability to keep a cigar in good condition. The wrapper is nice and smooth. It's kind of velvety to the touch. As you can see, there's a little sheen on it, so it's like a little oily, and that just is kind of a
lubricant.
There's a little Charlie Sheen on it. That's not
but there's a little. It's a representation of the quality of the leaf, because if you got a dry ass cigar, it's not going to have that little bit of sheen on it. It's going to be really brittle. I can kind of squeeze it a little bit, and the wrapper isn't cracking or flaking or feeling any sort of way under my fingers here as I squeeze. You see that? You see the squeeze?
Stop.
Jesus Christ, dude. Come on, man. Come on. For real? Anyway. But pairing it with the moonshine, I'm just gonna kill it. Do the alcohol retrohale. Oh, that's good. And it literally tastes like the apple in apple pie. I cannot shit you not.
That cinnamon in there.
Mm-hmm. You can really taste cinnamon, and then it sweetens the cigar. Almost tastes like a candy cane.
Ooh.
Rating.
All things considered, especially the price point, given the quality of the cigar and the vitola, and I could pair the cigar with just about anything: a bourbon, a soda, water, tea, whatever, and it's going to be a good smoke. And at this price point, it's almost unbeatable, especially for a guy with 4 kids. The price point, and this is going to be a first, where the price point weighs heavier in the rating. Given the quality, And given the Vitola that I could get at this price point, this is definitely like a 4.75, 4.8 cigar. Because
$5, that's good.
Pick one.
Really
Pick one.
4.75.
Okay.
Okay. I only mark off because it's not the. I would prefer it to be a little bit fuller because I love full cigars. I do. But now that I know I can get a box of 20 for $100, this can be like a daily smoke cigar, and it's like you smoking a premium cigar for $5 a stick. A premium cigar. I mean, this isn't like some throwaway shit. This is some good shit. And I won't feel bad. I'm like, here, man, had this Romeo y Julieta, man.
$5 a stick. That's like you got it on Fremont Street in Vegas instead of on the Strip.
Oh, gross.
Dude, I'm saying.
And one more thing real quick, Big Haas.
Mm-hmm.
You know the girls in Miami. You bring
Ybor City. I gotta get to Ybor City. That's cigar culture is real big down there.
I got a couple things from embargoed country on the way.
Oh, and if she gets down, well, Tampa and Miami are far apart, aren't they?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so forget it.
3.5 hours.
Guess what? Any patronage of the leaf that she wants to get my way, I will gladly accept because I love cigars. I love smoking different cigars. So
talking about these are from Mecca.
I know what you're saying, dude.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. And
he loves cigars like Irish Swede loves his math class.
Dude, I need to talk to the Swede. For real because I need some knowledge.
Irish Swede, are you willing to come back for like a full episode?
Yeah, sure.
Oh wow, he's so excited. Wow.
It's like, okay, that sounds like when I was dating and I would say to a girl I met on Match, so would you like to go out again?
Yeah,
sure. Okay.
Whatever.
That might be fun.
I'm free.
It's almost. I was waiting. He almost sounded like he wants to say,
I gotta check my calendar.
Whatever, motherfucker.
Have you seen his LED strip back there? He's very cool. So I mean, this is all very pasha. Like
he's like, don't let the glasses fool you.
Jesus Christ, man! Butter us up a little bit. Make us feel like you like us.
He giving it to you.
Dude. Irish, all right. So Sweet Irish is very fucking smart, and I need to holler at him.
Mikey? Do you have another topic, or are you good? Because otherwise, I'll let you close it out.
I'm good.
Okay, why don't you close it out since Haas just talked with a conversation with Irish Swede for a minute about whatever you want.
Me and Swede can talk about whatever we want.
Yeah, just for 40 seconds.
So I don't know if you guys know this, but Swede, pull your microphone over to your chest.
Pull your shit out there.
Oh, I was about to say, God damn, where's this going?
Listen.
Is that the pacemaker?
It's not a pacemaker.
Pacemakers are for noobs.
It's a mechanical valve. I am literally a cyborg.
Awesome.
He am a cyborg, and him am is
the reason I'm very smooth is because my blood pressure medication really smooths me out.
What's
mood and everything.
Is it weed?
Oh, I think we talked about that before. I think when I was on jumped on with you.
What were the chances of you surviving that dissection?
1 in 20 million.
Wow.
So we're lucky to have the Swede here with us.
He can't. There was a 1 in 20 million chance that you survived and would come here to make fun of us and not want to be here. So that's just amazing.
What are the chances? 1 in 20 million.
Now, when did you have this dissection?
May 10th.
That's my birthday.
Yep. May 9th is when I had surgery. I woke up May 10th.
You are you married?
Yep.
Got kids? 2
kids, 4 and 3.
Oh man, go. I am so happy for you, man.
Yeah, that's great.
That is fucking great, dude.
You healed because it was my birthday, just so you know. May 10th is my birthday. That is the reason why I perpetually healed you through.
So the cool
caucasity, caucasity of this
perpetually is the wrong word, but you get the point. I healed you by my greatness. I woke up that morning and everyone said to me, Dad, happy birthday. I said, wait a minute, hold on. I got to fix something in the universe.
And he raises
I felt the disturbance in the force.
Yeah. I felt
he raised his palms.
Yeah, I raised my palm.
He stood up off his long back. And I
talked to Franklin Graham. I told Franklin Graham to pray for you personally. So,
it was the 10th was actually kind of a funny day when I woke up and everything. They actually let my wife in with me because my sister-in-law is a surgeon. Mm-hmm. And so she was able to quote unquote smuggle my wife in because, that was when the first wave of COVID was hitting and everything was shut down.
Right.
And so I was like, call my mom because, need to let her know that I'm awake and everything. And so that was Mother's Day and my mom picked up the phone and got to hear my voice for the first time on Mother's Day.
Oh, wow.
After the surgery. And it was my wife's phone that was calling. So she didn't know that it was going to be me saying hi. She was like, oh, it's probably just another update from my wife. And so, yeah, she dropped the phone. It was kind of cool.
Man.
That's a great story.
Why did you have to get a valve? And what kind of dissection?
Aortic. It was the name of it is called a type A ascending aortic dissection. So it started at the heart. So it's the thing that comes out of the top and curls around and then comes back down. And at the top, there's the 3 that go, to the lungs and to everywhere else. And so it started ascending. Now there's a type B where it starts over here and then just goes down, but it started at the heart and it had burst fully. Like when I was on the operating table and they were getting me through into get bypassed, it burst while I was on the table.
God damn.
So you didn't go into the surgery with a 1 in 20 million chance of dying. You went into the surgery for something else and something happened.
No, I went in to repair this because, your aorta has 3 layers and it had gone through the first 2 layers. Wow. And so, and they caught it on a CAT scan. Wow. This is what killed John Ritter. This is what killed, several other people that I'm just going to forget their names right now because my brain is not working today. But yeah,
so everything you said before like doesn't count, right?
Everything looked like a heart attack. So I had the chest pressure, I had all this weird stuff going on, but they were like, but you're not your heart's not secreting this hormone that says it's a heart attack. So we have no idea what's going on. So I was like, well, when I was 19, they tested me for Marfan, and they're like, they looked at me real weird, and they went, we're gonna get a sonogram in here to look at your heart. Not telling me anything.
Of course. They don't want to get you all riled up.
And then the sonogram lady is what found it. She's sitting there looking at my heart going, he's dying. He's literally dying, sitting over here, and I've got the ultrasound, jammed into his side, and I'm sitting there going, yeah, you're not going to find anything.
Right, everything's going to be fine.
Because I'd already been there for 18 hours already. And nobody was finding anything, and then an hour later they come in and we're going to give you a CT scan, just to rule some things out, just to rule some things out, and I'm like, all right, going down the wheelchair, I'm like, yeah, this will be a fun $500 to pay for that won't find anything,
right?
And then an hour later, after I'm back up in my room, this nice Indian doctor who's been taking care of me for the last 8 hours walked in white as a ghost.
An Indian guy.
Indian lady,
white as a ghost.
White as a ghost. And she goes, you're experiencing a dissection. And I went, okay.
Yeah.
We're sending you to Bergen to have open heart surgery.
Okay.
And I'm like,
wow.
I don't. It didn't hit me until after they had, and she was like, who else? We've already called your wife. Who else do you want me to call? I gave her, my parents' phone numbers, and then she was like, if we don't know when the ambulance is going to be here to transport you. So you might want to call your wife now. I'm like, well, my wife is on the road. If she's on here, she's on her way right now, and I'm not going to try. And she's already thinking about too many things for the phone to ring.
Right.
But they let her in to come see me before the ambulance took me away because she got there in time.
Holy shit, dude.
And then my sister-in-law, her sister, got her into the prep room where I was sitting beforehand. Dr. Langdon walks in. He goes, so you have a choice. Do you want the flesh heart or the mechanical valve? And I go, what's the difference? He goes, well, do you want to come back in 10 years or not?
Mm-hmm.
The mechanical valve is basically a permanent for life procedure, whereas the pig valve or the cow valve is they have to. It's gotten better. Maybe it's 20 years nowadays, but it's still, you got to have them repaired every 10 to 15 years.
Alan Thicke is who you were trying to remember.
Alan Thicke. He died of one too?
Yeah.
Okay. I know John Ritter died while filming 8 Simple Rules for Dating My Teenage Daughter.
Holy shit. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy wow. Dude, I don't know you from a bag of spit. I'd walk past you on the street and not realize, oh fuck, that's Irish Swede. But I am really fucking happy, man. I am so happy for you and your family that you're here.
Yeah, me too. And it's kind of fun now because my oldest is 4, and so he'll be sitting on my lap and he'll be like, I hear your heart clicking.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's
so he
awesome.
goes in, and obviously people bought him, the little doctor kit and toy doctor kit and everything. And so he comes up to me and, does the whole stethoscope, and he was like, I'm going to fix you up. I'm going to fix your owie. And
oh man, that is amazing. I got to go upstairs and kiss my kids now, man. God bless it.
So it ended up that I do have Marfan's. They finally did the genetic test. That means that my FBN1 gene does not produce the protein to make connective tissue elastic, and your aorta is a type of connective tissue, so which is why it became brittle and eventually split. My youngest got it because it's heritable. So he will eventually also have to go through this process, but his will be planned rather than
right, and it won't be one of those, we think this might be any number of things.
So he and I every year will go in and have a sonogram, and they'll check his to make sure he's already experiencing an aneurysm, which is just an enlargement of the aorta itself.
Yeah.
So when it gets to, I believe, 5 centimeters is when they cut it off and say, okay, we're operating. And we're going to get you a time to
now, and I know that we're running long, but I have another question now. What will be the protocol for him, because he'll be a growing boy, right?
This will probably happen around his 22nd to 28th birthday. That's when they estimate most of it happening, unless for some reason his aneurysm balloons.
Now, how old is he now?
3.
Okay, so he's got a good amount of time before he needs to.
His current aneurysm is 1 millimeter, and we've got to get up to 5 centimeters.
Okay, cool. All right, yeah. I was wondering, would you do a flesh heart a flesh valve for him, and then later do the mechanical one? But I
will be honest with him and be like, okay, the mechanical valve is annoying as shit.
Well, and also in 20 years.
Medical science will be different, but seriously, laying in bed, go tonight. If you have a metronome, start a metronome, sit it right by your ear, and that's what my life is like.
Oh wow! Now another question. With that type of replacement, like if he was playing, is he going to be able to play sports or anything like that, or?
Okay, so he'll be able to play everything but football, and then he'll have to stop playing basketball roughly high school age, because that's when basketball becomes a contact sport.
Right.
But the thing with Marfan's is you never generate enough muscle mass to to be any good at sports. You know, I graduated high school at 6'4" and 135 pounds.
Oh, wow.
And that's people with Marfan's just cannot gain mass. We can lift weights all day long. And that's another thing he'll never be able to do. He'll have a lifetime 50-pound weight lift restriction. Because, you know, imagine this. Okay, your heart, your aorta curls up the top, which means all of that blood pressure, the second your heartbeat hits that, and when you lift, that is an instant hard blood pressure spike. And so you don't want to keep hitting it with hard spikes.
Right. Right.
How old were you when you were diagnosed with Marfan's?
It was after the surgery, dude.
It was after the surgery.
Last year.
They had suspected it when I was 19, but they just did the measurements and like I don't fit the typical mold of what, you know, Marfan's can really affect people. Like people that they look like they have MS level of, that's how disabled they are. And then you have people like me who we just look skinny. You know, it's and that's how much it affects you.
Tell them what you did that morning when you dissected.
The morning of.
You did didn't you have like a run that day?
Oh yeah. I ran 10K that morning. And then you know,
10th?
No, on the 8th. So the 8th is when my heart actually, the first layer went. So on the 8th that morning, I ran a 10K, ran my fastest time ever. I'm feeling great. The rest of that day, we go, Fridays for us is fast food Friday. You know, it's we take the kids to McDonald's and all that. And I'm sitting there, I'm eating my sandwich, and I just feel this explosion right here and a wave of pain throughout my whole body. And I'm like, okay, that was weird. And then about 10 minutes later, my entire right leg goes numb. And it's because my entire aorta had split almost halfway down. And my body was like, something, this ain't right.
Right. You got to send a bigger signal to you.
A bigger signal. So the bigger signal was actually cutting off feeling to my legs. Well, only one leg got cut off. But the other thing was blood was now not able to get to my kidneys.
Oh, shit.
So because when we went in, we're like, okay, this is probably a dehydration issue. You ran hard. It was kind of hard. It was kind of hot that day. I didn't really rehydrate, you know, properly when I got back. My wife was like, "You're an idiot. You know, if this is just a dehydration issue, I'm going to slap you." Which she vehemently apologizes for has every day since.
He was gonna slap me and I was dying, baby.
Here I was, my aorta was just dissected.
I survived the heart attack, but died from the
That's the thing, is I didn't survive a heart. It's not a heart attack. It's
right.
Don't kill the joke, Irish Swede.
I have to.
Don't kill the joke.
You're a medical marvel.
Yes.
But yeah, I say my pump is fine. It's the hoses that actually broke.
Pause.
He got his first pause.
Yeah, he got his first pause. Oh, well, that's a
great story
amazing.
to end on. That's a great thing to end on, dude. Hey, many more years to you.
Absolutely.
To enjoy your wife.
So
and
I just
family,
celebrated my 41st birthday that I never thought I would get to see. So yeah, and the survivability rate for me going forward is it's about 60% to make it to 90 years old.
That's about the same as anybody.
Yeah, you make it to 90, man. You did a great thing.
Yep, it's about the same as anybody. So, all right, well there we go. Mikey, do your thing.
Hi everybody, it's your best friend in the whole wide world, Mikey Famine. So if you guys love,
owner of Mikey's VR, by the way,
still looking for investors, and my asteroid rodeo company that I also made today.
Patawan Paminier.
If you guys love Dig on America and you love independent content, by all means, hit us up right over. Yeah, right down there. Right below. Go to patreon.com/digonamerica. Throw in your pledges. And once we get to that tricky, ever so tricky $100 goal, a third of that is going to go to a charity of our choosing. And I don't think that I would be speaking out of turn if I thought that the John Ritter Foundation would be a welcome candidate to that pool of lovely individuals. So if you want, save Irish Swede's life, go to patreon.com/DigOnAmerica and help support the brand and help support the show. Support your favorite rascals.
You could be the person who gets us there today with a simple $60 a month donation,
or a $400 donation, or a $1,400 donation, because I know y'all got y'all stimmies.
And I got these. I've got these blessed prayer claws to send y'all too. They're red because they're soaked with the blood of Jesus. So for a simple $1,200 donation, you can get a prayer claw that you can also use.
And I have some mermaid tears for you.
Right. Yeah. And we could put you on the Dig on America payment plan.
If you would like to be anointed with oil,
we can put you on the Trump payment plan. Have you seen this?
Oh yeah, we saw that, dude. That's
where
crazy.
He was in the news today, where he was sending out emails, and they put auto check boxes in the emails where people would donate $500 thinking it's a one-time donation.
No,
it was weekly. It wasn't even monthly. It was weekly.
And people will still vote for this dude. They will still support this dude. Like I said, we had 7 trucks with Trump flags on them and Confederate flags and shit in Tennessee.
Well,
and they know this. I'm like, why are?
And you maddening. Know it. And like they said, well, we refunded it like 3 months later. But as Irish Swede will tell you, basically what they did, even when they refunded it, they borrowed money at 0% interest for like 3 months to pay his legal fees. Am I right, Irish Swede?
Probably. Wouldn't surprise me.
So to wrap
anyway,
to completely wrap
while I'm sitting here going, oh, my medical bills are $250,000. Do I get to borrow at 0% interest?
You need to go fund me.
No, I had really good insurance. That's yeah.
So there you go.
One last thing from the chat to wrap us up for the night, and I think this really sums it up. Thank you, Irish Swede, for joining us. But Tons Mice crushing it again. McNuggets will do that to you.
McNuggets will do that.
We'll see you guys later.
There you go. Good one.
Have a good night, y'all.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next week on Dig on America. Later days.
You are fake.